Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another week of Record Live. This is always one of my favorite times of the week because I get to have conversations with people about life and faith, often who I've never met, but every now and then I get to have a friend on the show, which is always fun. And today I have my friend Anna, but also returning guest Anna on the show. So thank you for coming back today.
Oh, thank you so much, Danita. It's so nice to be here.
Anna, people might expect you to be here for musical reasons because that's what many people know you for. But the last time we had you on Record Live, you were actually talking about how you had haystacks for 6 months during COVID. And this time you're talking about another exciting kind of wild adventure that you're about to embark on. Do you want to tell us what you are about to set off on doing?
Yeah. Firstly, I love that I was on for haystacks. That's just obviously quality content all around. But yes, we have upgraded, I would say, to kind of a bit of the next level. There is me and 3 other women. We're going to be riding a quad tandem bike. So that's 4 people on one bike. Across Australia, it's going to be a world first, and we're raising money for suicide prevention. So it's a pretty wild idea. We're actually leaving in less than 2 weeks, so feeling pretty nervous, but excited to share about the journey.
Yeah, we're actually pre-recording this, so by the time that this is uploaded, you might be on your way across Australia, which is
That's
crazy.
so cool. I'll have a listen on the bike ride. Hey, Anna.
Yeah.
You
Some
can do
earphones
it.
in, phone out. Where did this idea come from, Anna? Was this something that you screwed up or someone else?
Yeah, that's such a good question. So me and my sister, we actually went on a ride called Ride for Rescue, run by Louise Ginn. It's an annual event riding from Canberra to Kosciuszko, and they raise money for the Blossom Project over in Vanuatu. And yeah, me and my sister were riding on there, and we met Louise for the first time, and she's just an amazing bike rider, a very big dreamer. And she was like, yeah, me and my friend Sonia, we're going to ride across Australia on a tandem. And my sister and I were like, can we get a tandem too and come with you guys? So it was going to be these, 4 women riding these 2 tandems. And then Louise stumbled across a video of a quad tandem, and she just sent it to our group chat. And all of us were like, yes, this is it. And little did we know the next year of our lives would be trying to find a quad tandem, everything about quad tandems. And yeah, they're much more rare than I expected. And it's turned into a pretty phenomenal adventure. And yeah, loved it.
Awesome. So it's yourself, your sister Rach, Sonia, and Louise that's going to be on the bike, yeah?
Yes, yep.
Yep. And how did you end up finding this bike?
Yeah, so yeah, kind of a crazy story, but I rung around to lots of places in Australia, so to my brother, like lots of us were trying to find. I even looked up just like random tandem clubs in Australia, and like, nah, we don't have a quad, And so we were like, oh, and so then we ended up finding 3 companies that made them in America, and so we reached out to the companies and got some quotes, and yeah, mostly the quotes were between 30 to 35,000 Australian. So we're like, oh, well, I suppose we'll just need to get the sponsorship and get this bike and get everything sorted. But then my sister Rachel stumbled across this Canadian series where these 4 blokes who were just young, kind of larrikin vibes, and they're like, let's do a quad tandem race. I'm also raising money for suicide prevention. So Rach followed this little series and then just Instagram stalked, but just messaged all of them on Instagram, and one of them got back to us and we had a meeting. And slowly but surely, like long story short, they ended up selling us their secondhand women's bike for around 12,000 Australian dollars. So we were so grateful, and our bike's from Canada.
Yeah, awesome. And tell us about some of the logistics of this ride. How is it functionally going to work? Have you guys been training? Are you going to sleep? Like, tell us some of those little details.
Oh yeah, lots of details. Honestly, it's been just like a whole year of just ticking off random little tasks that come up, like, everything from, and we're all just like already working basically full time, most of us, and a couple of people that become passionate jump on board. But, we're essentially like designing all the logos. We're trying to source vehicles to be our support. We're trying to grab, people that can support us across the way, people with bike skills, cooking skills, videography skills. A training plan so that we're all feeling ready for the ride, our jerseys, like even connecting with the schools along the way, like connecting with social media, making media packages, like the lists are just never ending. And our last meeting, we actually got up to 72 unfinished things that needed to be done in the next 2 weeks. So it's just a whirlwind, and we just kind of delegate them out and just try our best amongst our crazy lives.
Yeah. You mentioned that you're doing this to support a cause. Why did you choose the specific, cause that you have decided on? Because there's so many things that you could put money towards. Why have you chosen this one? Is it something that's like close to your guys' heart, or is it just like you just chose one?
Yeah. No, it was definitely chosen pretty intentionally. So our leader, Louise, it's pretty close to her heart, in particular her family. So, that struggle with mental health and things like this. And it was pretty on her heart. And Sonia also, she's a doctor and sees a lot of things, and so that was on her heart. And then when they kind of shared the organisation they'd already picked, because they were going to do this first. Rachel and I have fortunately not had anyone like really close to us. Which we're very grateful for, but we definitely, we're both teachers, and we've seen, teenagers struggling with, self-harm or these darker thoughts. And I suppose as teachers, we're trained to look out for these young people. We're trying to grow them into people that have positive self-esteem and values, and have this full and abundant life. And to be battling with these thoughts that maybe I shouldn't be around, or things like this is something that I wanted to learn more about, even how to help with that. And and the fact that 9 Australians commit suicide every day. So it is something impacting our society, and it's something that we should care about. And I also have a very strong belief, all 4 of us are Christians, and we just have a strong belief that we are made in the image of God, that we are all deeply valuable, and that the message of God is that he wants us all to have life, and life more abundantly. So this cause just seems so fitting. And even just listening to Gus Warland, who actually created Gotcha for Life, and his story really got me. Like, there's just a 5-10 minute thing on YouTube. He does a TED talk, and super powerful how he got to the place where he was supporting mental health and suicide prevention. It was through actually his own mentor, who he looked up to, committing suicide, and it really just shook him. And and it became a really turning point for his own life. So
you mentioned prior to us pressing record that one of the things that the organization Gotcha for Life does is go into schools, and you said that they go in for kind of like long hauls. Can you tell us some of the things that, because you're raising $500,000, which is a lot. What is that money kind of going to go towards, and what does this organization already kind of do?
For sure. One thing I love about this organization is there's quite a lot of suicide-related causes, like Beyond Blue and Black Dog, and and Lifeline, they're mostly in the crisis moments, which I think is really awesome. But the difference with Gotcha for Life, the need that they felt like they wanted to fill, is preventative. So they actually talk a lot about building mental fitness and building that resilience and the growth that you need to actually have the mental fortitude to face, the negative things that we can come across in this life. And so I really love that. And they go into schools, they also go into businesses, into footy clubs, and they actually typically their programs last for 3 years. And that means a facilitator is paid. I'm not sure like how frequently they'll come in and do check-ins, but it's, that long haul check-in, teaching, like very, very intentional preventative measures, which I think is incredible. As a school teacher, I'm passionate that they're doing it in schools, and and that's why we're pretty excited to visit schools along the way too.
Do you have an idea what you're going to be doing when you go into those schools?
Yeah, we had a meeting with the Gotcha for Life team, which was so helpful the other week. That was another one of our things to do before the ride. And they actually helped us make a PowerPoint with, just really good language around, all the things that they've learned through facilitating all of these things. Now, obviously, we're not fully trained, and we won't be going into, the depths of everything. But I think even the main core message that I felt like I took away from that meeting, and that is through the PowerPoint, is they have this concept of village, and that, you know, if people have a village, who is in your village, and do people actually trust their village? Are they vulnerable with their village? And, you know, that is actually almost the antidote to suicidal tendencies or thoughts, or following through on that, because you have real people that are willing to check in a real way with you and being vulnerable. And having a community behind you supports you. That is super important. So even that theme of checking in really with your mates, not just the larrikin like, oh yeah, how you going? Yeah, she'll be right, mate, kind of vibe that we have in Australia, but a real like, hey, I've noticed you struggling. Like how's your thought life going? Like, what? Yeah, how are you really going? And just having those conversations.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think like the topic of mental health is definitely becoming more common and accepted within the church. I mean, this is like a faith podcast as well, which is awesome. But I think it's something that people are still kind of learning how to have those conversations. And even though as church members, us people who go to church, we're in a village, we're in a community, but a lot of people still often feel alone or isolated, or like they don't have people to talk to. But people in that kind of setting, what are some of the ways that they can kind of like bridge those gaps?
Yeah, I think something that's kind of hard about traditional church is that it is quite large, and I think people can feel unknown in that crowd. And so, I mean, I would say personally, and I'm not sure if this is the right answer, but I would say something like small groups have really been a big thing in my own life for actually feeling known and understood and heard, and having a safe place to share. So if you can get connected in with a smaller Bible study group, a small group of people that meet together faithfully, even just like one prayer partner or a couple of others that you might just go to a cafe with once a week and really share. So yeah, you've got to find your people. And I think, you know, you might take a few small groups before you really find your people, but everyone will find it eventually. But I think it might take putting yourself out there to actually find the group that gets you, understands you, and is really those people that are there for you. You know, the ones that will help you move house, the ones that will help you decide the color you're going to paint your house. Like they'll bring over cookies if you're sick, not cookies, garlic drinks. You know, so you know, the ones that actually genuinely look out for you and notice if you're missing and things like that. Whereas you can easily go to church in and out and no one knows. So, which is a shame. But yeah, I would say smaller, more intentional communities that really are your people.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I was reading the Gotcha for Life's website prior to this conversation, and the founder in his mission statement said, I want a society where we can seek help when life gets challenging, where we can build open and honest relationships and feel comfortable expressing ourselves no matter what, which is awesome. But it also got me thinking about your actual ride across Australia and how inevitably you guys are going to come across hurdles and obstacles. But if you were all on a separate bike, it would be easy to kind of, you know, lurk at the back for a few days, ponder on your own, but you're all going to be so close together. Have you discussed how you're going to navigate some of the struggles that you face on the trip?
Yes, Anita, we've actually had some great chats about this, because I think what we've realized is that we are going to be like living this out. Like we actually all have a tendency to kind of be people pleasers and just kind of like let things slide. So like we've already come across things where it's like we actually need to be honest and open about this, because things just fester and then they never go well. And the thing is, it's all about practicing vulnerability, like and being able to be open about conversations. And I think to some degree, you know, some of us in the group are more connected than others. So obviously I'm very connected to my sister. So we're super vulnerable with each other, and that's awesome. But yeah, like how do you do that across the group, across the support team at all different ages, different personality styles? Like, and I think one thing we've tried to put in or that's in our schedule is a 7:30 p.m. worship and debrief. So I think also, you know, Christ and Jesus is the center of our lives, and to come back to a worship, just ground ourselves again. Like, I think that's going to be pretty crucial. And then us actually being very honest and open and dealing with things as they come up, because you can't just let things slide for 6 weeks and like be okay. So yeah, we kind of talked about that, and we've even actually shared so we were actually like, so what does each other need? Like, one of the things I need, otherwise I'm going to be very annoyed, is leaving on time. Like if we're saying we're leaving at 6 and we leave at 7, in my mind I'm like, dude, we're 20 Ks behind. Now that's an extra at the end of the day when everyone's more tired. Like, you know, the winds are better in the morning, it's cooler. So just, that's the thing that I really need. So the other team, if they're a bit loose on that, you need it. I'd really love it if you, and another one on our team, she really needs her quiet time. So we've actually made sure she has her own tent, whereas the rest of us are kind of piling in and just sharing tents. So you know, just very little things like that are kind of has come out. And I think it's been great to start those conversations of what do we really need to thrive here, and let's be open about it. And maybe we need to have those vulnerable chats. So yeah, good.
Yeah, and I think that's an important thing, like before you're saying to have your close, like your small group, or to have your close people that you can talk to. I think even just in life, having someone who you can communicate what you need, because I think a lot of the times we just we lurk at the back, kind of like the bike analogy, and we don't say anything and we hope someone will ask, and then we, you know, get upset and feel isolated. So
yes.
Yeah. When we think of something like this ride, Anna, we think of how physically hard it's going to be. And obviously we've kind of just touched on some of the mental struggles as well. But how is mental fitness just as important, I guess, in a ride like this?
Oh, I would argue it's even more important, which seems crazy. But I mean, physically, yes, like it will be super challenging, but quite a few of us have done like endurance-y kind of things before, and like we've been training pretty hard. So I expect, and we've got all day to get there. That's, you know, even if we have to walk, we'll be there with the bike. So but yeah, the actual keeping on going, like head down, like when it's hard, when you've got a headwind, when it's raining, like when you're pissed off at someone, like, you know, that mental strength and fortitude is really what's going to get you going. And I mean, it's actually really amazing to me because Sonia actually isn't a bike rider, and I've been so impressed with her training. But like, and honestly, I was a little bit nervous about that because I'm like, well, she's not a bike rider. But on our 80-kilometer ride that we did together, like her mental headspace is just incredible. And I literally was like, cool, that's awesome to me. Like, even if you'll learn to ride a bike, like you'll learn strength on the bike, and she's been smashing training, which is amazing. But I think mental fortitude is what it is, is super crucial. And I think all four of us have demonstrated that quite a lot in the past. And so I think that will get us through. But yeah, there's definitely going to be days we crack, and we're going to have to figure that out. But yeah, we've got to get through.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, I don't know if this is being live streamed, but I would love if there was just a camera on the front of the bike so we can tune in at any time.
Mate, that would be so funny. I reckon I'd be nervous being watched at any time. I don't know.
Yeah,
we actually have the craziest conversations sometimes on the bike. It's just because like you're stuck there for so many hours. You're like, oh, what are we talking about next? Like,
yeah, for sure. I'd be curious to know, Anna. Many people might kind of know you from your music, or I don't know, from schools or wherever. I feel like you're a pretty popular face, but from what I've seen of you, you are a pretty positive, upbeat person. Are there things that you do? I know some people say that optimism is like a genetic thing and you're born with a certain like perspective, but I think it is also intention. What are some of the things that you do in your own personal life to stay mentally fit?
Yeah, such a good question. I do feel like an element in personality does play a part. I think I've got to acknowledge that. I was born with a pretty like life is, you know, glass is half full vibes. And if anyone's on the Enneagram, I think I'm a number 7, which is very much that. Just, woo, life. But then sometimes you miss the negative and the criticism, and you got to work that out. But anyway, but there are actually some habits that I think really do contribute to a positive outlook. And so one thing is that I journal every day. Or I should say most days, because look, sometimes I miss it, but most days. And sometimes I skim back, and literally mostly it's always like, it's a prayer journal. So I'm like, dear Jesus. And then mostly the first next word is always, thank you so much. Like it's weird. Like I feel like it's just my natural tendency to be like, thank you so much for this or this or this, or thanks for being awesome, God, or different things. Thanks for that happened the other day. And there was a speaker at church one day that spoke to us about gratitude changing her life, and she was encouraging everyone to write things that they're thankful for. And so when I was realizing, every day I actually am starting with something I'm grateful for. Thank you for this. So that's definitely been a part and ingrained in me. Second one is I really prioritize exercise, and obviously more than ever with this bike ride, but trying to get a good solid hour of exercise in every day. I think it just can't help but boost. Like there's so much science around what that does for your endorphins and different things like that. And the third one is, I would say, trying to eat healthy, because I know that in times when I've eaten less healthy, like way too much sugar or just eating massive meals, you actually feel just a bit like gluggy, but when you're like clean eating and prioritizing health and some of those habits, I think you just feel way better, and that actually can't help but just translate into your life. Those are some of the things.
Some of Anna's hacks. Got for life's mental fitness kind of statement. Does that also tie into like promoting exercise, or is that just
I haven't really seen that as much as emphasizing community and village, but I'm sure it's definitely something they would bring up in that 3-year course. I'm sure they would touch on it. For sure. Those are some good elements.
Yeah, awesome. Bit of a random fun question. What are some of the things that you are looking forward to the most on the ride, and some of the things you're looking forward to the least on the ride?
Looking forward to the most is just seeing amazing Australia, like at a very slow pace. Really looking out at the countryside and just taking it all in, the deserts, the mountains, the coast. We have such an array of climates, and it's cool to see. So really excited for that. I'm excited for team bonding. I love getting close to a new group of crew, like as we journey through this intense thing together. I'm excited actually to learn and grow from that too, because already I think it's been the single most thing that has grown me in terms of a group event. Like I've never been this far deep, this intensely invested, and this much against so many personalities with so many things going on. So it's been really good to grow and learn in even leadership, communication, lots of things like that. And then I think the thing I'm looking forward to the least is, man, if we crash, I just will we survive? I don't know. Hopefully, there's all sorts of crashes, but you think everyone always is like, the road trains, and they do seem pretty crazy. So honestly, just safety on the trip, like car fumes, sunburn, potholes. Probably just some of those things.
What is a road train?
So road trains, they're like super long trucks. And they take like a few minutes to actually get up to like 110, 120 Ks, 130 Ks an hour. And so they don't want to slow down because everything's like money for them, because they're often transporting stuff. So if they have to slow down for you, they just often won't. They even have bull bars to just hit kangaroos and everything, like just boom, boom, boom. It's just super long, big. They're like a train on the road. And so we do have a bit of a strategy for people interested in the intricacies of everything. But we have this Garmin that will sit on the back and detect cars. And the thing is, we will have a van most of the time, but there's like a 200-kilometer section on the Nullarbor, which has really narrow shoulders, and you're actually not allowed to have a van go that slow because the road trains will literally just crash into it. And so, we have set up this Garmin, and we've made the decision that once it gets detected, we will get off the road and just brace, and it will go past, and then we'll get back on. So it's going to be a slow day, but we'll survive, hopefully.
Slow day on the number. Oh, so insane.
Yeah.
Man. Well, for obviously our viewers are probably not going to be embarking on a 4,000
kilometers, yeah.
4,000 kilometers across Australia. But I'm sure this is a cause or a topic that many people are passionate about. For those who are not going on this ride but want to support or want to better support the people around them, what are some of the things that they can do for people who are kind of like struggling in their lives?
Yeah, I actually think we have a little slogan we developed called, especially because people are going to be driving behind us and they'll see this slogan. It says, call your mates, tell them you love them. And it's just really simple, succinct. And I think we all have really busy lives, but I think just take the time to notice the people around you, and even just take the time to like maybe make that one phone call a week to a couple of your mates and really check in like authentically. Especially those that you know may have noticed have had a tough time lately, or you know might be struggling or in a darker place. Like, let's actually have them over for dinner, like bring back community. And maybe because we are so busy and organized and all that, maybe just make it a night a week. Tuesday nights, not going to book other things in, and that's going to be my Tuesday check-in night. Like, you know, I'm going to call my mates and tell them I love them. Or if you have a half an hour drive to work, rather than putting on a podcast or music every time, why not just think, oh, on Tuesdays I'm just going to ring someone, like, and have that check-in. And yeah, you could be super surprised about the difference that makes in their life.
Yeah, love it. That's awesome. Well, for those who want to not join the ride, maybe you need some backup people if you have an accident. But for those who want to watch along on the ride or learn more, where should they go?
Awesome. Yeah. So you can follow Ride for Life Australia, basically anyway. So that's a number 4, Ride for Life Australia. So yeah, you'll find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We're going to do like a bit of a YouTube short series as well when we're actually on the ride. But yeah, that would be incredible. And there's links there to how to donate if you believe in the cause, and yeah, if you have the capacity to support. But even just following along and commenting, laughing along with us, really, it does fill us with joy. So please do that.
Give them some daily encouragement.
Yes.
I don't know if we've mentioned this, but this is going to be a world record if you get to the other side. Is that right?
Yes. If all 4 of us ride every day to the other side, we're on.
We're on. Awesome. Well, that's exciting. We'll have our first superstar on the show.
Mate, yeah. Look, I'm excited too. It's funny because Louise has 4 sons and they've been trying their whole life to get a world record. And now Louise is like, I guess I'll have to get it first, kids.
Amazing.
We're pretty stoked.
I love that. All right. Well, we will let you go. I'm sure you've got some kilometers to do for your daily target. But thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been great to learn about what you're doing. And we wish you all the best for your 6-week ride, and hopefully we'll hear from you at the end of it.
Awesome. Thanks, Anita. Thanks so much for having me, everyone. Have a good life. Stay safe and ride your bike.